thinking process behind a capsulorrhexis in a Morgagnian cataract. So Morgagnian is basically when the cortex has completely liquefied and there is only the solid nucleus lying freely inside the capsular bag. One of the first signs that you can notice is a difficulty in initiating the rhexis with the needle. There is more of a dimpling of the anterior capsule, and as soon as I do end up having an opening, there's liquid cortex that is coming out. My first instinct is usually to aspirate it out with the cystitome itself because it's a needle, it is hollow. For the simple reason that I like the cortex out of the anterior chamber for better visualization. Some success, and the rest of it can be managed by viscoelastic injection. If there's a little bit of a cortex, yes, viscoelastic can help, but a lot of liquefied cortex and viscoelastic along with it is going to give you difficult visualization. So I prefer taking it out if it is of a substantial quantity. Now, with that liquefied cortex out, all I achieve by trying to propagate the rhexis is even more cortical matter. As soon as I get a hold, there is this locula of liquid cortex that gets opened up, and now this is at a very high risk of running out because that liquid looks not under pressure but eager to come out of the AC. So when this much quantity of cortical fluid is present, I always prefer washing it out for better visualization purposes. Yes, a lot of viscoelastic will also come out, but you can always re-inject and reform the AC rather than keeping the liquefied cortex in the AC itself. So going with the viscoelastic cannula, you can see the flap very clearly right now, and what you see underneath is not the cortex, it is only and only the nucleus that is freely floating. Counter pressure is not easily available for performing capsulorrhexis with a cystitome. So here I decide to go with a capsulorrhexis forceps. It is difficult to do with the regular viscoelastics that you use because it will constantly leak out through the large main wound. Ideally, a high density viscoelastic would be preferable in such scenarios. And the earliest challenges that you face with the capsulorrhexis forceps is grasping the appropriate edge, the leading edge, as close as possible to the opening. And in an effort to not run out with the capsulorrhexis margin, I actually end up making it smaller than I would like. Some more viscoelastic to deepen the AC once again. So the number of times that you go in and out with the capsulorrhexis forceps is the number of times that viscoelastic will leak from the AC. So it's almost like a zero-sum game that you're playing when you have a regular viscoelastic with a capsulorrhexis forceps. You can see how oscillating my anterior chamber is. My cornea is showing some deformation, and so far so good. It's on the smaller side, but at least it's continuous. Some fibrosis noted on the undersurface of the anterior capsule, and I'm worried here that the capsular margin is going to run out and come out through the main wound. So I push it back, I push the flap back, and I resume back with a cystitome now. So I have used two instruments so far. One is a cystitome for initiation, the capsulorrhexis forceps for about half of the capsulorrhexis, and now I'm back on the cystitome. So very slow progress because I'm not very certain how the capsule is going to react. I can go with the cystitome at this point because the nucleus is right underneath this capsulorrhexis margin, giving some weight underneath for propagation. Some more viscoelastic to see the leading edge. I'm trying my best that viscoelastic does not leak out from the side port incision. And this is getting incredibly slow and incredibly frustrating, but you need to keep your cool at this point. And you can see an optically clear area suddenly appear. So my fears of an iatrogenic zonular dialysis come forward, but it doesn't look like so because I can still visualize the leading edge of the capsulorrhexis margin. There is no run out so far. It is just the nucleus that is oscillating in an otherwise free bag. So here I decide to enlarge the incision to the full length of the MSICS tunnel, making sure that the tunnel is at least as large as the nucleus size is expected to be because I need to deliver this nucleus in toto. Some corneal folds Not happy with it. Some more viscoelastic to identify the leading edge. So now I come back to the Capsulorrhexis forceps because I can see the leading edge very well. Very little of the Capsulorrhexis is left to complete, and I just peel it off. Now there is only a very small section of Capsulorrhexis tag still attached, right exactly where the black arrowhead is. So now comes the third instrument, the Vanas scissor. It's a very small tag, I do not want to risk running out. So a simple nick will do the job. You can always do a can opener capsulotomy in such cases, but there is something beautiful about doing a capsulorrhexis in difficult situations. Not only does it give you stability during the surgery, but there is a better chance of the IOL remaining stable in the bag in the long run. So eccentric, slightly on the smaller side, but should do the job.